Sir, permission to start the ceremony, sir.
Yes, you may.
All right, go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Sir.
6, 7. Go, keep going. Go.
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes,
6,
sir.
7. Keep on. Go. 1.
Sir.
Man, almost like I got a degree in math. Turn it! Cunye!
Live
Live confident. Turn to face the back.
Yes, sir.
Will all guests and Mr. Zaworski please stand up?
Yes, sir.
Turn it! Cunye!
Live confident.
Turn to face front. Yes, sir. Turn to face flags. Turn it! Cunye! Songam Spirit Taekwondo. CJ.
Sir, I will practice in the spirit of Taekwondo with courtesy for fellow students, loyalty for my instructors, and respect for my juniors and seniors, sir.
Turn it! Cunye!
Live confident.
Thank you, everybody. You can all be seated. Let's have everybody in the back sit down like black belt, please.
Sir.
I'll ask Mr. Holly just stand here next to Master Bentley. First off, I want to welcome everybody to the Black Collar ceremony. Can we just give a gigantic round of applause? Before we move forward, I'd like to welcome one of our guests. Master Bentley is in town because he and I are doing some special 7th degree training. He's my master brother, and we made rank together. And these two also have a great relationship. I never had a special guest in town for one of these ceremonies, so I can't believe it worked out. We flew him down just for tonight. I just led with that. But I'm so grateful that you're here. We don't share this ceremony often. This ceremony does not happen often, so it's actually really cool to have a special guest. And of course, Chief Instructor Mr. Holly's here. It's very important that when I begin the ceremony, I explain to you what's happening so you can understand what you're watching as it occurs in real time. Number one, the Black Collar is the level 3 certified instructor that we have. From this point forward, instructors are capable of creating and generating their own lineage of students and furthering Songnam Taekwondo. The Black Collar is the most prestigious level of instruction that we have. Now, as you guys know, the Live Confident path towards doing things is usually a little bit extra, and the collar system is no different. So to give you some insight into what Mr. Zaworski had to do to be here tonight, the first thing is he had to test for what we call bands. So we have bands that represent each rank. When you test for these colored belts, you are a colored belt yourself. A purple belt doing purple belt material does purple belt material at a purple belt level. If you want to be a certified instructor, you have to then, as a professional martial artist, go back, retrain the purple belt material, but now with the mindset of an instructor who's going to move purple belt material forward. Mr. Zaworski had to go back and revisit every single color belt, every form, every board break, every piece of Live Confident weaponry, every single item that we teach. He had to put under a microscope and perform it for us in what amasses at hours and hours of rigorous physical testing. If you pass the physical test, you then have to sit down and do hours and hours of written exams, which start with question 1, write the entire form. Be an expert, know the name of every single move, every single stance. This is how we ensure that anyone who wears this collar next to that patch has the same standard. I bought this school in 2006, so I've owned it for 18 years. In that time, I have had less than 15 people. I have had thousands of students. I have had less than 15 people receive the honor that Mr. Zaworski is receiving tonight. That should tell you the level of tremendous commitment it takes. Now with that, I'd like to take a moment and stop talking about the collar and start talking about the ceremony and the process itself. My instructor, Rick Weems, passed away when I was 17, and he did not leave us a map form or a concept of how to build an instructor. There was no education in the space at the time, so the only thing I could figure out was document everything I learned as I was becoming an instructor and a school owner, and then put that into the instructor process. So for instance, as I started creating champions and competitors, I realized how important it was that I could write really good private lessons and really good class planners. So they all have to write private lessons and class planners to earn certain collars. As I continued to develop everything, there were incredible moments that I knew as they were happening in real time that I wanted to honor people who became certified instructors underneath me with some moments that tied them to my story of how I became an instructor. And a little bit of that is what you're gonna watch tonight. So the ceremony is gonna begin in a moment. I'm gonna invite Mr. Zaworski up here next to me, and I'm going to present one of my belts to him. Now, that is probably one of the most interesting parts of the Black Collar ceremony to me. My instructor, Rick Weems, taught me until I was 17, but I started training at 5. So, I had been under this man. He was like a second dad to me. And as I'm training underneath him, in March of 2005, Rick Weems passed away, and I was a pallbearer at his funeral, and he was buried in his uniform. After that, in May, I flew to Korea, and I fought for 3 months with 2 collegiate-level Olympic sparring full-contact taekwondo teams at Chunju University and Wusuk University. I was there for 3 months, and on my last day, we went to clean out our lockers, and Master Huang, who I was living with at the time, did not speak a lot of English, who now works for the Kukiwon, which is the governing body of all of Taekwondo internationally above ATA that actually works directly with the Olympics. He reached into his locker, and he grabbed his belt, and he turned and he handed it to me. And it had never occurred to me that that was a thing you could do. I didn't know, because again, my instructor was just buried in his belt. It didn't occur to me that the thing you sweat in and you learn in and you're humble in and you train in and you bleed on and you teach with, the thing that is the accreditation of who you are, I didn't know you could just give it to someone. For the Harry Potter fans in the house, the fastest way to explain this is, think of it like a Horcrux. Do you know what I mean? When he puts a little bit of his soul in something. This man gave me his belt. It melted me. And I knew when I gave my first Black Collar instructor their collar, I said, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to start stockpiling belts at every rank, and I'm gonna wear them. And I'm gonna I usually have at any given point about 4 belts in rotation. And I'm documenting what I do in those belts. And then as I document with those things that I do I try to find emotional connections with them. Courtney Fleverich was a student of mine. She was an amazing fighter. So when I fought in Portugal and the Netherlands, that's the belts I gave her. There's a billion of these. Mr. Holly's belt was, it was the one where I got master. I gave him that belt. And our connection there was him taking over as chief instructor. And as I look at all my students, I try to find some connection with them in the process. And I wear that belt intentionally. And then I prepare the belt, and I'll talk about his belt in a moment. But that's step 1 of the ceremony tonight. You'll also see me get down and do what we call a traditional bow. This comes from the mastership process and mastership ceremony. We all have to do traditional bows during the master ceremony right before the dubbing when we get translated over. I perform one of those belts as a sign of honor to the belt, and that's what puts it into retirement before I hand that belt over. After that, the next step is Mr. Zaworski is going to hand me a coin. At every collar, you have to give a gift. It's only right that you give something to show gratitude and humility if you're going to be given a seat of authority and more power. Anytime in martial arts, if you are given more power, more authority, more rank, the first thing you should do is honor the instructor who gave you the chance to do it. In the mastership ceremony, when we get dubbed as masters, we have to present a gold coin to Grand Master as a sign of thank you, and we have to do it that night. So, in our collar system, when you make black-red collar, when you do the collar system, we use silver instead of gold. That's a step down from mastership. So when you make black-red collar, you give me a silver quarter. When you make black-red-black, it's a silver $50. And tonight, Mr. Zaworski will be presenting me with the full silver dollar. The next time he presents a coin at this status, it will be a gold coin direct to Grand Master to give him the title of mastership. It is a few years away. After he presents his coin of gratitude, the next thing is I will crown him with his black collar. Now, it's gonna be the most emotional moment for many of you, and you're gonna wanna stand up and give a giant round of applause, and there's gonna be tears, okay? Charlotte's throwing Alex in the air. I'm aware, okay? I know. I get what's about to happen. But I need you to restrain it for about 10 seconds, and here's why. The next piece of my journey was, I knew when I bought Master Weems' school, I wanted to honor his name forever. But I had to come up with an LLC, I had to come up with a company name, and I didn't want it to just be named after me. There's already a name on the school. So I had to think really hard about my mission, my dedication. What do I care most about martial arts? What did martial arts give me? And that's where I came up with Live Confident. I thought that part of the process was so introspective, I wrote it into the black collar ceremony. So tonight, when I put that ribbon on him, he'll face me and he'll bow, but when he comes up, we're gonna need some silence. He's not gonna say Live Confident for the first time. He's gonna say his own motto, his own quote. I don't know if it's a brand, I don't know if it's a quote, I don't know if it's a I've had some people with like 5 sentences, like a whole memorized paragraph, like wedding vows. Like I don't know what he's gonna say, but that's his connection. And the reason is, the first words that you say once you have the black collar, that's your mission. In the same way, when we tie that white belt on and we have that moment where we go, hey, only 1 in 100 people who got what you just had are also gonna get the black belt tied on. For me, this moment is when you get the black collar, mission number 1, what is your mission? What is your thing with martial arts? How do you identify? What do you dedicate your taekwondo to? That's his first mission. That will come to fruition when he goes through the mastership process, where we have to write papers about what kind of master we want to be. That will be the extension of this moment. So really what these guys go through is they go through introspection the same way I did. Again, I didn't know how to make an instructor, so I just make them all do the stuff I had to do. I had to come up with Live Confident. Well, you have to come up with something too. Figure that out. But that brings me to the story of the collar itself. Master Weems had this beautiful story about what the rank is. We wear multiple types of rank in all our different accoutrements, right? Each patch represents or means something. But the main 2 types of rank are your belt and your collar. Your belt is your student rank. This is training. This is underneath the permission of your senior. This has nothing to do with instruction. This is your instructional rank. And the purpose of the collar is to represent a yoke. If you had a beast of burden like an ox, and you put a yoke on the ox, that is what helps them carry their load. This collar that I wear, his is about to be black, and mine is black blue, and his is black silver. This isn't like our rank here. Our rank here is, this is what I know, this is what I've trained, this is what I've earned. This is what I'm responsible for. This represents all of the students behind me that I pull forward in my lineage. That's why the collar wraps around us. This is what I know and what I've earned. This is my responsibility load. And your load is about to get the highest level that anyone can aspire to be, which is a black level 3 certified instructor up until you become a master instructor. Once I put that ribbon on him and he says his quote, I'm gonna turn the floor over to him, and And he's going to get to say whatever he wants. If he has any presentation or anything he wants to say, that'll be his moment. And then after that, there's only one final piece. And that is, he's going to go grab that piece of paper, which is his final class planner that he wrote. The entire time you are under the supervision of a high rank, because you are not a black collar. You must write class planners or teach off of class planners that we have, because you are not a certified instructor. Once you become a certified instructor, we still write class planners to organize our thoughts, but you don't have to. So as a celebration, as a relief, as a giant party moment, he's gonna get to rip up his class planner, which of course frees him from the obligation of ever having to be held responsible for reporting to other people about what he wants to teach, which is an incredible feeling for many of us who get hand cramps writing these things all the time. With all of that being said, now that I've described the ceremony, you must be one of the proudest moments in my entire instructional career that I never saw coming. Mr. Zaworski and I first met at a seminar. He started coming to these seminars and training, and he and Donovan started hitting it off because I'm dragging my son around the country to help me at these seminars. And so many times I'm like, well, thank God Z-War is going to be there. My son will have somebody cool to talk to, and he won't be bored out of his mind listening to his dad talk all weekend. And then I saw your work ethic. Years later, he's the only person to date to do the level 3 seminar red pin, which is the highest accolade I give in the Live Extreme series. Everything that he touches, he gives 100% of his heart to. I don't have to tell anybody in this room that, because your kids are all here as a representation of how much he has given to them. In fact, you guys are going to get a lot of pictures tonight, videos, but you're missing the real picture. The real picture is from this viewpoint, because what we see is a man standing in front of me who's about to have a black collar, and the team behind him, carrying his load, pulling the juniors in his stead. Then he moved down. And when he moved down, the training went to 1,000. His effect on the room went to 1,000. And then, of course, that was followed by his first world titles, which was a gigantic. World titles aren't everything. I know that sometimes around this school, we give it that language, and I understand that. I'm competitive, he's competitive, we get competitive. World titles aren't everything. You can't let judges tell you how to feel about who you are as a person or a martial artist or a champion. But for Mr. Zaworski, winning those world titles was the way to communicate to him the thing that I had seen in him all along. And he definitely, when he stands in front of you wearing those red letters, is a testament to the fact that you too have the ability to do that one day. All you have to do is be like him. I'm so honored to make this change happen for you. And that leads me to the story about the belt I'm going to give you tonight. I have about 3 belts in rotation that I could have picked. And I almost picked a different one. But I picked the belt I'm wearing right now. This is my 7th degree belt. Now, I want to tell you a couple things about it, because if you don't know or understand what you're looking at when you look at our belts, it's hard to know the gift I'm giving him and why I picked it. You'll notice this says Master Jude Grayson. My name is going to change this upcoming summer as long as we do everything correct and I pass, and I will become a senior master. Having the master title next to the 7th degree stars is only for 1 year of my life. It is a very small window in a very long career as I work to change my title. We only get to do that a handful of times. But that's not the only reason I picked this belt. My instructor, Rick Weems, passed away. And I picked Chief Master Abear, and then he retired. Then I picked Grandmaster Arsaman, and he left the ATA. And now I'm under Chief Master Dindy. Mr. Zaworski flipped a few schools before he came here too. And that's a part of your entire path that very few people will ever understand the way I understand. The reason I'm giving you this belt is I know I'm not the one who started your journey, but I am the one who put that collar on you, and I'm grateful. Master Dindy's not the one who started my journey either, but this is the first belt he ever gave me under his lineage. And I deeply believe that the complexity of my path over so many decades with different instructors mirrors some similar experiences you've had. And I want you to understand that giving you this belt is actually also a sign of my understanding of what you've gone through and my gratitude that I'm the one out of all the instructors you could have picked to be here for this moment. So in a moment, I'm going to invite him up. I'm going to take this belt off. I'll put my other belt on. I'll perform the bow, and we'll begin with the rest of the ceremony. Before we begin this portion of the ceremony, I'd like to just take a breath and say, I'm so proud of you. Let's change that color. Would you please give a giant round of applause as I welcome Mr. Zaworski. Sorry. I, Master Jude Grayson, hereby give my belt of my own free will and desire to Joseph Zaworski as a sign of gratitude, humility, and trust. I have worn, sweat, and spread taekwondo while wearing this belt, and have poured my spirit into it. Allow this black belt to serve as a sign of my dedication and commitment to you as a live confident instructor whose lifelong mission is to spread taekwondo and to live, to serve, inspire, and motivate. Below, I have documented the occasions I have worn this belt, which give it a distinguished history. This is my first 7th degree black belt. It still has the title Master because at the time of the presentation, I am not yet a Senior Master. This is the first black belt I received under Chief Master Dindy's lineage. Number 2, this is the belt I did Senior Master training in. I wore this belt for the first time that I learned the 7th degree form. Number 3, I wore this belt during your first and tonight's ceremony. I understand they don't know about the first ceremony, but you and I do. And that may have been some of the most important moments that I poured into that. I believe there's actually a little bit of blood on that particular place. Congratulations, sir. Let's give him a round of applause for
Sir. Thank you, sir. I was a child, my mother told me, if you become a soldier, you'll wind up as a general. If you become a monk, you'll wind up as the Pope. Instead, I became a painter, and I became Picasso.
This is normally the moment where I would introduce him as a level 3 certified instructor, but I will not tonight. That is for ceremony number 3, where he'll explain that quote to everyone. And that will be the culmination of the collar process. So, I can't announce him officially yet, but can we all first celebrate how incredible you look transformed right now with that black collar on? Before we finish tonight's ceremony with the thing you probably want to do the most, I'd like to turn it over to you if there's any special things you'd like to say. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. I just want to say some thank yous. First thing, I want to thank my grandfather. Without him, I would not be here. I would not have been able to achieve the things that I have achieved. I'd also like to take this time to personally apologize to his checkbook for the beating that I have put on it over the years. I'd like to thank Master Grayson, my one true instructor. You've been an absolute incredible example of the school owner and the leader that I would wish to be when I own my own school, so thank you, sir. I want to thank all of my students. You guys are the reason that I show up every day. You guys are the reason I strive to reach my full potential so I can be the best instructor to you that I can be. Last but not least, and most importantly, I want to thank my parents. Without you guys, I would not be here. You are my biggest supporters and my biggest cheerleaders, and I will never be able to thank you or repay you for all that you have done for me. Again, I want to thank all of you. Your support and belief in me keeps me going every day and allows me to keep pushing myself. I hope one day that you are able to say that I proved you correct. Thank you.
Mr. Zworski, from this moment forward, you can wear that black collar as a certified instructor, and you no longer have to have my permission or the chief instructor's permission to teach the class planners you wish. As we all celebrate, congratulations, you're free, brother. Sorry, the people who surround you tell you who you are. You know, there's this statement that says, if you hang around 5 billionaires, you'll be the 6th, and if you hang around 5 people who are broke, you'll be the 6th. And I love that, because it talks about the people who you hang around and how they elevate you. But there's another side to that coin as an instructor. As an instructor, the people who hang around you, especially from the student standpoint, are a reflection of who you are. All the people who came here tonight to celebrate you, I can guarantee that many of them see a version of you in themselves and hope one day to do what you just did. All of Songam Taekwondo's color belts represent the growth of a tree. And from that standpoint, every color represents a stage of growth. The white belt represents the seed. Our job is to plant seeds in students as we spread Songam to all 4 corners of the earth. And as you celebrate yourself tonight, look around at all of the people who showed up because you've invested in them through your time, your action, your love, and your commitment of self. It's a true honor to congratulate you with this rank. Let's give him one more giant round of applause.
That's my baby.
With that, I'm going to have Mr. Hawley guide us into a bow out, and then I'm sure there's about 8,000 photos that have to be taken right now, and I know you guys will all have to come get photos with him and all of that, so let's get the bow out done first. Sir, would you take it away?
Everybody stand up!
Yes, sir.
All guests, please stand up.
Yes, sir.
We'll bow first.
Turn face back.
Yes, sir.
Turn in. Turn in.
Live confident.
Turn face front.
Yes, sir.
Turn in. Turn in.
Confident.
So, 1,000 times. There's a lot of emotions in the room right now. Song of Spirit Taekwondo.
Song of Spirit Taekwondo. CJ.
Sir, I shall live with perseverance in the spirit of Taekwondo, having honor with others, integrity with myself, and self-control my actions, sir.
Yep. Continue.
Live confident.
Let's hear it from Mr. Zaworski.
I know everybody needs photos, and I know you have to go. Why don't you go give that to your parents and go get the biggest hug, go do the most important thing. Let's just celebrate him real quick as he takes care of his priorities. Okay, while he's handling that, I'll help stage you guys. Let's get the shorties up front, the mid-levels. Let's have the high ranks in the center with Mr. Let me actually have time up.